I want to thank Fox45 for asking the question because it caught me off guard.
Project Baltimore at this state school board meeting last week had a very specific question for State Superintendent of Schools, Dr. Carrie Wright.
So my question is about transparency.
The Maryland State Department of Education had just released the most recent state test results, known as MCAP, the Maryland Comprehensive Assessment Program. And when we looked at the scores, something didn't seem right.
It appears that the changes that your predecessor made have stayed in place.
These are the results the state released. Within the numbers, what we can see in math is that 24% of Maryland students scored proficient. In English, 48% scored proficient. Digging deeper into the data, we can see 185 schools statewide had 5% or fewer students score proficient in math. 59 of those schools are in Baltimore City. But that is all we can see. The proficiency levels for many schools have been suppressed, replaced with asterisks. In those 185 schools, taxpayers do not know how many students scored proficient, but they soon will, after Project Baltimore brought this issue to Dr. Wright's attention.
Rather than having just an asterisk, you will get a percentage of students that are at that actual level.
Here's the backstory. Last year, in January 2023, Project Baltimore analyzed that year's state test results and found 23 Baltimore City schools where 0 students among those tested scored proficient in math. After that story aired, the state changed the way it reports test scores to the public. Instead of reporting the scores for the lowest performing schools, MSDE chose to suppress the scores by replacing the results with asterisks, a move that kept parents and taxpayers from seeing how poorly many schools were performing. That decision by MSDE sparked criticism from the community. But when we tried to question
Mr. Chaudhary, Chris Papps with Fox45.
Then State Superintendent of Schools Mohammed Chaudhary about it.
Test scores on the website.
He locked himself behind a door. When Dr. Carrie Wright became the new state superintendent following Chaudhary's resignation, Project Baltimore asked if she would reverse the previous administration's decision and once again make the results available to the public. At the time, Wright said she would look into it.
I think that's just important for the public to know. We're not going to progress the way we really are wanting to progress.
At last week's board meeting, Wright announced her department would reverse course and unredact the results. But when Project Baltimore analyzed the data MSDE released last week, we noticed results for many schools were still suppressed, hidden behind asterisks, which we questioned Dr. Wright about.
All I see are asterisks and less than 5%.
Okay, I would need to take a look at that.
A few days later, MSDE told us in an email the department inadvertently continued the previous practice of applying an additional suppression rule, and a new report with unredacted results would be released soon, so taxpayers can see how all the schools performed.
Finding this extra suppression rule that was not needed, that surprised me as well. Taxpayers deserve to know, parents deserve to know exactly what's occurring in their schools and in their communities. And so for me, it's not a finger pointing exercise. It's not an outing exercise. The data speak for themselves.
MSDE told Project Baltimore the new results should be released later this month. Once the data has been updated and posted to the state's website, Project Baltimore will analyze the new numbers and share the results with you. I'm Chris Papst, and this is Project Baltimore.
I'm Kai Jackson. Thank you for watching. Here's another video to watch. Also, please take a moment to subscribe to our channel.